Today, we're talking about how many plugins should you install. This is a big topic. We see this a lot in our WP Beginner Engage Facebook group. People are always asking, I gotta, reduce my plugins. I have too many. So we wanted to address this topic on how many WordPress plugins should you install and what's too many. So Syed, I know you have a lot of opinions about this.
I feel like plugins have a bad reputation for no good reason. The number of plugins that you use on your site is not a true measure of the impact on performance, right? Like, for example, on WP Beginner website, I'm using 79 plugins right now. Okay, there are 79 active plugins on the site, and my site loads in half a second, right? So it's not the quantity of plugins that you're using, it's the quality of plugins that you're using, right? You can have 3 plugins installed and one bad one, and that one bad one will slow down your site plenty. Okay, so it's not the quantity of the plugins, really it's the quality. When you're using any of the automotive plugins, any of the WP Beginner plugins, you can be safe and you know that those plugins are going to work. Majority of the plugins I'm using now on WP Beginner website are plugins that we own, plugins that our team make. And the best part is most of them are available to you guys as well. All the readers have access to all the plugins that we're using. So you can use those safely, no issues, and so on. Now, on a given website, like I would say 30 plugins is no issue, right? I mean, I just told you, we have 79 plugins active right now. You can have probably 30, 40, no problem. It's just the quality of the plugin. Another thing, that's important to know, people ask me, how do you have 79 plugins? What do your plugins do, right? And you got to understand, like, let's say if I'm using something like an all-in-one SEO, all-in-one SEO will have multiple add-ons. Maybe there's a redirection add-on that I'm using. I'm using the link assistant add-on to help me with internal link. I'm using an index now add-on, the image SEO add-on, the video sitemap. So all-in-one SEO, technically, if I'm using the add-ons, will count as 6 plugins on WP Beginner. And same thing with like WP Forms and so on. So it's that, if you're like, hey, this is a plugin author I trust, like WP Forms is the most popular contact form builder in WordPress, and you're like, I trust this plugin, I need this plugin, and you have WP Forms and maybe the surveys add-on, maybe the MailChimp integration or the Drip integration, you have a form blocker add-on, and those are fine. Because technically, I would consider that as one plugin. You only add the feature that you want. You don't add others that you don't need. If you're using something like enable SVG upload, or if you're using a single-use plugin like disable WordPress REST API or disable Gutenberg, or if you're using any of those plugins, those plugins are not really going to slow down your website. So you can technically have a lot of those. Like I do have a lot of those on my site, but one of the things I'm doing right now is I am removing those plugins off of my site, and I am putting those snippets inside my one plugin called WP Code. This, I believe, is the most underrated plugin in WordPress. It's so powerful. It lets you add those one-off functionalities inside using a code snippets, and they have in the code library a lot of these pre-written code snippets that you just add, you activate, and now you only have one plugin and you have a bunch of function snippets. So some of those plugins are basically like adding code to your functions.php file. They're not going to impact your site speed. Now, the reason why I feel the WordPress plugins have gotten a bad reputation is because of inexperienced developers, freelancers, and sometimes some hosting companies. Their technical support might not be fully knowledgeable, and they will just say, oh, you have a plugin running that's causing your site to load slower. And maybe that's not what the case is. Maybe you just don't have a caching installed. Maybe that hosting company servers are not properly optimized, right? So if you're using somebody like a SiteGround or Hostinger who have really optimized servers with proper caching, their own built-in caching system, you can use 30, 40 plugins, no issue. I'm using SiteGround, right? I have 79 plugins, no issues. I've tried on Hostinger many, many, many plugins because they use a Lightspeed caching server and a Lightspeed caching plugin. Once you cache everything, it's pretty much a breeze.
I love that. And actually, we'll have, for anyone who's curious, we'll have a whole link of all the top plugins and tools that we recommend for our website. There's like over 30 of them that will work really well. We'll have those in the show notes for you as well. Okay, that's it for today. If you have a topic that you want us to cover, let us know in the comments below. And if you found value in this episode, please leave us a review. And as always, thanks for watching and listening.